yeah, a couple of questions. Just want a conversation, really. Obviously, that is all of what Brew Monday is all about. So I thought we'd keep it nice and on topic.
Absolutely.
I do have a cup of tea, but it's more to keep my hands warm, if I'm honest.
Got my mug too. Here we go. Lovely cup of tea.
What I wanted to start with is, how are you? How are you doing generally?
Oh, that's a nice question. I don't normally get asked that. Yeah, no, I'm doing all right, thank you. Yeah, I think I found, like a lot of people, I think I found this, well, certainly the announcement of the third lockdown, really quite tough. I don't know why it was so different. I think maybe I was really lucky last year I had Bake Off, but this time I think I had COVID over Christmas, and I just felt quite isolated and a bit lonely, and I think the latest announcement kind of got to me a bit, but I'm trying to take each day as it comes, and I have actually been trying to reach out to a lot of people, like family and friends, and like have conversations, which I don't always want to do that, but it does make me feel better. So yeah, I'm doing all right, thank you.
Good. Yeah, it's definitely it's funny, isn't it? And I find myself, anyway, we've been working from home since March, which is fine. We're very used to Zoom and, you know, kind of digitally communicating with everyone, but I do find that I have to really try hard to socialise with friends and family out of work. It's the last thing I want to do when I've been at a screen all day, but it's what we need to do, isn't it, really, I think, right now?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and sometimes I think as well, like, you know, I think because we did quite a lot of Zoom calls, like a lot of people did a lot of Zoom calls and chats first time around, then the novelty wore off a little bit, and sometimes it is quite easy, isn't it, to get complacent and kind of just go, oh, I haven't really got time, but you have really, like, because you're just kind of busy doing nothing. I tend to put it off and make a big thing out of it, like calling somebody, but I have been really trying lately to make myself, because I know that I feel better for it. So I think sometimes it is just about kind of giving yourself a bit of a push and a bit of a kick, because it does, 9 times out of 10 it will, if not 10 times out of 10, it does help.
Yeah. So are you feeling, I'm not going to say fully recovered, because I know COVID can hang around for quite a while afterwards, but are you feeling better than you did over Christmas?
Yeah, much better, thank you. Yeah, I think it was a couple of weeks, and yeah, it was a little bit miserable having it over Christmas, but I think we were very lucky. I know a lot of people are really poorly with it, and obviously, you know, had to have like further treatment. So really counting our blessings, to be honest with you, and pretty much feeling back to normal health now. So yeah, it's good.
Well, that's good, and a good way to start the year, even though the year is starting slightly different than it normal year.
Yeah, it's so weird, isn't it? I feel like everyone was really hopeful for 2021, and obviously, you know, like, yeah, we should be and stuff, and with the lockdown it is challenging, but we've just got to get through it and, you know, support each other. We can do it.
You've actually said, so I think we're just over a week into our third national lockdown, Britain anyway. How are you coping with it? So you've said, obviously, talking to friends and loved ones is kind of a big thing. What are you doing kind of day to day to keep yourself entertained, I suppose?
It's a tough one, and I don't always have good days. Like, there are some days where I don't really want to get out of bed and I don't really want to do anything, but talking really does help me. So like, I personally get a lot of comfort out of like helping other people. So even if I'm having a down day, I will phone somebody else and be like, how are you doing? And to know that I've listened to that person, like, I don't always sound altruistic, but that I genuinely, like, that makes me feel better. So that definitely helps. And then I suppose, like most people, I've just been binge watching Netflix TV shows. Bridgerton, oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, I feel a bit lost without it, actually.
I'm gonna have to rewatch it, I think. Yeah, and lots of tea and chocolate. I think that's pretty much the only way that I'm getting through it.
yeah, I don't think there's definitely not a magic solution, is there?
There isn't, and I think there's a lot of pressure to kind of, you know, especially maybe more so towards the first lockdown, but like to, you know, get a new hobby and achieve something. And actually, honestly, like, it's too much pressure. Like, none of us need it. You just got to get through it, and we've just got to stay at home. And it's okay if you don't achieve anything in the day. If you wake up and you kind of, you know, eating something and brush your teeth, then that some days that's enough. So yeah, it's about not being hard on yourself. And somebody I was chatting to the other day actually did say something which really resonated with me, and she said, we'll never get this time back. And as much as it is hard now, you know, there were a lot of pressures before, like we've got a big family, like divorced parents, 2 sets of divorced parents. We were always rushing around and running around, and you know, as tough as it can be, we will never get this back. So I'm trying, it doesn't always happen, but I'm trying to make the most of the downtime and the quiet time too.
That's such a lovely way to think about it as well. It's just a bit of perspective, isn't it? And I know, you know, there are certain people that aren't necessarily getting this time. NHS workers, you know, emergency services, supermarkets even. But for those of us we've been privileged with this time, I think that's such a lovely way to be thinking about it. And when else are you going to get stuck with your partner or your family or whoever you're living with, if you are fortunate enough to do so?
Yeah, exactly. We've just got to make sure the people that are on their own are looked after and supported. While I say, you know, try and make the most of it, like it is also really hard. I think if you are living on your own, then yeah, that's an incredibly hard thing to kind of have to go through. So I mean, that's why we're sort of talking today about what the Brew Monday campaign is about, kind of reaching out and connecting with people. So
if you want to talk about the Brew Monday campaign a little bit more, and
great.
what it is and what you think about being an ambassador for it.
Well, I'm really proud and really honoured. I've been a Samaritans volunteer, like a listening volunteer, for probably 2.5, 3 years now, and it's something that I feel it's a very humbling experience to be a Samaritans volunteer. It probably sounds a bit strange to say I enjoy it, but I really do. I get a lot out of it personally, so yeah, to be kind of like championing this campaign is it's a fantastic opportunity. I feel very honoured. So the whole point of it is kind of flipping Blue Monday, which is supposed to be like the saddest day of the year, on its head, and actually, rather than it being a sad day, that hopefully it's a day about connection. It's not really about a day, and it's not about just having a cup of tea. It's really about like the whole of winter, and like however long this lockdown's going to go on for. So it's about, you know, picking up the phone, or even, you know, having a Zoom call or a text or something with somebody and having a real connection, and listening as well. That's the other kind of part of the big campaign, that we're trying to get that message across. A lot of people think they're good listeners, and sometimes they're not always. A lot of the time we listen to respond. And so sometimes it's about kind of sitting back, holding back a bit, allowing someone to just talk without judgment, without interrupting, without giving them advice. And that's something we really want to do, is just get people talking and get people listening a little bit more, without kind of jumping down the throat of people. You should do it like this, or have you thought about that? Sometimes you just need to vent, don't you, and get it off your chest. So that's what it's all about.
It's active listening, isn't it? I think, which is the difference. And I think actually all of us at Happiful now have had mental health first aid training.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is all about active listening, and that difference, you know, between, you're not listening to, you don't necessarily need to give a response to everything and to every problem. Sometimes that person needs to just get it off their chest. They just need to talk about it out loud, without knowing that no one's going to judge them. You don't always want advice. No,
exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. And a lot of people, obviously, they think that they're really well meaning, and so it's, you know, it's coming from a place of love. But it's okay to say to somebody, like, it's okay, like, I don't, you know, actually I just kind of want to rant, or you know, thank you, but I'm not really after advice, like I just need to get this off my chest, and hope that they'll listen. But that's what the Samaritans are there for as well. It's non-judgmental, like we're a listening service. You know, we'll support you, and obviously and kind of give you encouragement, but really it's a place for people like to go and just talk. And I think one of the common misconceptions about Samaritans is that it's for people that are on the brink of suicide or feeling suicidal, and actually it's not. Of course we're there to support those people when they're in their time of need, but actually if you're having just a really down day, or you're feeling anxious or depressed or low or really particularly lonely, that's what the service is there for as well. So I think I would encourage anyone, you know, reach out to family, reach out to friends, have a virtual cup of tea. If you can't do that, Samaritans is always there, you know, like we're a 24/7 service. And you know, we're there, we're never going to judge you, we're there to listen, and we're there to support.
It's completely anonymous as well, isn't it? So it is.
It is, yeah. And I think that's the other thing that I think people really like about it. And sometimes, you know, you'll end a call and people will say to you, thank you so much, and you kind of go, I didn't do anything, like I didn't actually really say anything. But it's just listening. It can have such a big impact on people, and it sounds dramatic, but it can be kind of case of life and death sometimes. People feel listened to without judgment, because there's a lot of people that kind of are holding back, and they don't want to burden family and friends with maybe like dark feelings and thoughts like that. So Samaritans is great for that, I think, for people to be able to be open and honest about their mental health.
And I think year round they've always been doing remarkable work, and credit to listening volunteers and everyone that works for them in whatever capacity, because it's a lot as well to take on yourself. So how do you, obviously you are listening to sometimes really quite distressed callers. How do you kind of cope with that? are you able to kind of disengage from it? Like once you put the phone down, do you need to take a moment to look after yourself after that?
Yeah, sometimes I do. Yeah, it like really does depend. Like sometimes you think that a really harrowing call will really stick with you. It's not that you become desensitized to it, because you always care, but I think that the training is really good and really thorough, so that you do kind of have to compartmentalize a little bit, because I'm a very emotional, very sensitive person, and if I took everyone's worries home with me, I would be a wreck and I wouldn't get out of bed. So you do kind of have to put it in a box a little bit. But you always kind of debrief after a shift with like your team leader. So you obviously it's a confidential, everything that is said on a call, but you debrief to someone within Samaritans. And yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said some calls didn't kind of still stick with me now. And I often sort of will sit in my kitchen and think, I wonder what happened to that person, and I really hope they're okay, and I wonder if they've got out of that situation. But yeah, you do have to just kind of leave it at the call sometimes, because you'll never know. And obviously, you've kind of got to be resilient enough to then take on the next call. Yes. So it's something that, oddly, it sounds probably a little bit harsh, but you just have to kind of get used to it.
It's amazing, and I think thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, bless you. No, I genuinely really enjoy it. Like there are some days where you think like, oh God, like it's hard, it's hard work. But yeah, I generally I really love it. Like most of the time I'll leave a shift and I'll feel like, even if I just help one person, like that's enough for me. So yeah, I feel very privileged to do it. It does put things into perspective as well, like in your own life and things like that. So yeah.
Yeah, you said earlier actually that you love helping people. You do like to be that person, whether it's friends, whether it's family, whether it is in your position as a listening volunteer. What was it that made you become a volunteer for Samaritans?
I think I've struggled with my mental health when I was younger. I think from probably quite a young age, like 13, 14, I remember being at school and just feeling really lonely, and like I think I look back now and I think I probably was depressed, to be honest with you. And like throughout my kind of teenage years and even my university days, I think I struggled with anxiety and depression. I just didn't really know it, and I didn't really go and get help. So I kind of empathise with people that are in that position, and I think there have been days in my kind of even early 20s where I felt like I didn't really want to be here anymore. So while I've never tried to end my life or anything like that, I can kind of empathise with people that are in the situation they don't want to be here anymore. So for me, I've always liked helping people, passionate about mental health. The two kind of went hand in hand, and I just thought, you know what, I think I'd really like to do that, and I'm so glad I did. It's one of the best things I've ever done.
You talk with such passion as well. It's not, like you said, it's not a chore, it's something that you love doing, and it's as heavy as it can be. You are helping someone.
A lot of people say to me, oh, I couldn't do that, like it's too much, like I couldn't do it. And actually, like I said to you, I'm quite an emotional, sensitive person, and I think that was my worry too. But yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not here to plug being a volunteer, but all I will say is anyone can do it. Like if you've got any kind of ounce of empathy and like you can listen, then you can be a Samaritans volunteer.
And it's good to plug being a volunteer, I think. It's all part of it. It's part of your experience as well, isn't it? And why, like how you've come to talk about this.
Yeah, and weirdly, like I said, it does actually, I find it really helps my mental health, helping others, because when I'm on the call with people, I'm not thinking about how anxious I feel or what's going on in my life. I'm just completely focused on them, and actually that's a really good, and sometimes you know, I'm all for talking and like, you know, but sometimes we need to distract ourselves, and if that's listening to somebody else, then, you know, so be it.
So then we've touched on it slightly, but I think I wanted to ask you what your experience of volunteering and being a listening volunteer, and also I suppose it's from your experience of having your own mental health struggles at school and college, university, is what has all of this taught you about the importance of having someone to listen to you, or having that human connection even?
Yeah, I would say that it has never been more important, because this, you know, last year and obviously this year it's spilled over and everything with COVID. You know, we're seeing the amount of people that are struggling with, you know, loneliness, isolation, anxiety, and then mental health conditions as well. It's, you know, it's really quite alarming. And I would say that, you know, reaching out to somebody, offering a listening ear, and actually properly being there for somebody, like I said before, it might sound dramatic, but it really can mean the difference between like life and death, or just making somebody smile and having, you know, feeling listened to makes somebody feel valued, and it can really boost like their mood, their self-esteem, and like their day-to-day life. I really can't emphasize enough just how important something that might seem so small and insignificant can really, you know, the impact it can really have on someone. And hopefully then they can kind of pay it forward, and we can all get talking a bit more. Mental health, the stigma around mental health is changing, I'm pleased to say, but I think there are a lot of people that still don't feel comfortable talking about it. So my hope is that, like me being open about, you know, what I've kind of gone through, which is nothing in comparison to others, but I'm hoping that, you know, it will enable people to just feel a bit more comfortable to talk, and just to be a bit more open, because there's nothing, you know, there's nothing to be ashamed of, and we all have dark days, we all have down days, but, you know, it's just important that we're there for each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what you know, you said it there, is actually you don't need to be going through, you don't need to be in crisis to have to ask for help.
No, yeah, and often actually if you reach out before that point, it will help you not get to the point of crisis. So it's those small steps, those small phone calls, those check-ins with people. How are you? And ask them, you know, how are you really? Because a lot of people will be like, yeah, I'm fine. But it's kind of digging a little bit deeper, and like you say, it will prevent people from hopefully getting to that kind of crisis point.
Yeah, prevention, isn't it? It's making people aware. It's okay to say, yeah, are you okay though? And I think friends, if they are having a bad day, as you say, I know I do it myself a lot of the time, and I work in a mental health, you know, company, is, yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah.
But then actually you think, oh, there's a whole list of things I could be talking about right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Bother you about it or whatever.
It's easy to put it off, and like if I'm feeling like really anxious, I'll be honest with you, a lot of the time I don't want to talk. I kind of want to just shut the world away a little bit and hide under my duvet on the sofa. But I make myself now, I really do have to make the effort to go, no, do you know what, I'm going to call someone, because I always feel better for it. So I think sometimes it is about pushing yourself out of that comfort zone and going like, do you know what, I am going to call, even if it's someone you've not spoken to in a little while, like giving them a bell, or it always helps. And likewise, and the kind of opposite of that, I would say that it's also okay to kind of cut out friendships and people that don't serve you. I've done that a lot more in the last year or two, and I think I've realised about, you know, what friendship means to me, and what like a healthy relationship means to me. And sometimes, you know, like you can forgive a lot in someone if they've got a good heart, but there are a lot of people that I kind of go, thank you for that friendship, that's not really serving me now. And like cutting out toxic people from your life is one of the most liberating things I think you can do. It's like unfollowing people on social media that don't make you feel good. So yeah, I think it's important that we kind of have connections with people that are kind of, you know, that want to be like around us and are worthy of our time. So that's another thing I think I definitely learned last year in particular. It's like I have what I call high hum friendships, and then it's just like a funny term that I've used, and I've tried to kind of like not cut them out, but just to kind of move away from those like, hi hon, how's you? Yeah, I'm good, you? Because they don't really mean anything. And I'm sort of like I say, I'm kind of I sort of try to seek a bit more connection and like real talk really. So sometimes, you know, you know, like I can still phone my friends and have a laugh, but I know if I phone them I was like, do you know what, I'm having the worst day, like I feel really anxious, or this is awful, they're like, okay, right, talk, what can I do, rather than just like, oh, that's rubbish, like, hope you're okay soon, like, you know, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm trying to veer away from the high huns.
I love that. I think we all need to take that on. So I just want to talk briefly about your time on Bake Off. Firstly, huge congratulations. I'm a big fan, so you're a delight to watch. It came at a particularly poignant time. Everyone needed it. I know everyone who is a big fan of the show anyway really felt like it was that kind of light in a really dark time. I wanted to ask first, how was it being on the show? And then how was it being on the show in 2020?
It was a real honour, because I have been like a Bake Off super fan for so many years, and I would race home from work on a Tuesday, like bake something or pick up Mr. Kipling pack of cakes or whatever and watch the show religiously. So to be actually on it was just so surreal. I think when we were filming it, I think we realised, but probably not to the extent we do now, like how much it, you know, has meant to people, and like how much it lifted people. I think maybe if we had have known that, it would have put even more pressure on us. Maybe that's a good thing. But no, like certainly now, like you can look back and go, you know, the amount of people that have said to me like, thanks for lightening up my lockdown, because, you know, Tuesday nights were such a highlight, and yeah, that really does mean a lot.
And how is it being kind of is it fair to say in the public eye? Since I know your Instagram following as well has grown quite substantially since.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit mad.
How has that affected you?
I think for the most part I'm enjoying it. I think I did struggle quite a bit with anxiety on the days that the show was coming out, because you know, as you know, there was a couple of weeks where there was backlash and things like that. I found Twitter quite a harmful place to be sometimes, and a very negative space. I think now that the show has aired, I was worried I was going to miss it, but I mean, I miss the filming, I miss the people, but I'm kind of like, I'm glad it's done now. I feel like I'm going to move on a little bit with my life, and let's see what happens next. So yeah, it was a fantastic opportunity, but I'm quite excited for like the next chapter, I think.
But yeah, you touched on, obviously there were weeks where kind of there was more backlash on you in particular. Twitter, I agree, can be quite a toxic place, I think.
Toxic, that's the word.
You did have some amazing people jump to your support, which is, you know, wonderful. How was that support, did that help you at the time, or is it again more now that you're out of it, you're able to look back on it and kind of reflect differently?
No, it definitely did help at the time. I remember the day after the semi-final, aired, I was really upset. The trolling on Twitter was pretty bad, and I saw the message from Amelia Clark, and I remember just crying, but with like happy tears, like, oh my god. So that really did boost me, and then having support from Paul as well. I feel like it was really nasty, like it was horrible, and then I think because I was getting support, people were like, this is out of order. Like a lot of the past bakers as well stepped in, and then, you know, I was still getting a bit of like, you know, abuse, but it did kind of seem to shift a little bit, and then it was like, yeah, all right, she's enough now, like leave her alone. And that did mean a lot to me. I won't lie, it was a rough kind of few days, to be honest with you, but I tried as much as I could to stay off Twitter, because I realised that looking at all of those things written about me was like a form of self-harm. Like, I don't need to read that stuff, so I tried to avoid it as much as I could. Like, I know that I tried my best. I knew that I didn't make the rules, I didn't choose to stay in the competition, so I just had to kind of hold my head high and just get through it. I just kept trying to tell myself, which is something that like we often tell people when they call us Samaritans, is like, what you're feeling is temporary, like it's raw and it's horrible and it's hurtful now, but like you won't always feel like this. And you know, on the first day of it, I couldn't think like that. I couldn't think straight. I was just so upset. But after a while, I was just like, yeah, it will pass. Like, I've got to kind of sit with this anxiety for a little bit, but it will be fine. And it was, and it is. So
yeah, thank you for being so honest as well. It almost spoils a time which was so special, and like you say, it's so changing and amazing. So many positives, but then yeah, that it does come back to.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. I feel like, and I'm sure, like, I always wonder, like, if in a year's time I'm going to be like maybe I haven't really dealt with it, and I'm going to be like, oh my god. But yeah, I try and move on. I'm trying, yeah, my best to be positive. Like, I have, yeah, up and down days like everybody, but I try not to let it ruin the experience, because the overall experience was fantastic.
Thank you. And just finally, I don't want to keep you too much longer. Do you keep in touch long after?
Yeah, we did actually last Friday. I think all but a couple who couldn't make it for work or like genuine reasons. The majority of us all met up and did a Zoom chat for about 3 hours on Friday night, which was really lovely. Like, we've got our WhatsApp group as well, so we all check in with that. I talked with Lottie, we've become quite close, and Mark and Sura. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's like pockets of friendships and stuff, but we do all get on really well. I think the casting team are obviously really good, because they pick, you know, obviously people that are sort of, I suppose, nice and just get on. So yeah, it's lovely. And Raoul calls me all the time as well, who won it a couple of years ago. He's so sweet. But yeah, I always get messages from like past bakers, especially like not just when the trolling thing was happening, but even now, just being like, how are you doing? And last year's winner David as well has been really lovely, like giving all of us bakers advice on like, you know, what to do, and it's just really nice. It does feel like, sounds cheesy, but it's a nice little bake-off family. Yeah,
hopefully you can now offer that support to those that are joining the family next year and in years to come.
Yeah, that's the plan. Michael from last year has been a really big support to me as well, and I know that he supported the Samaritans campaign last year, and I kept saying to him, how can I repay you? Because he was such a rock to me, like throughout the whole thing. He was like, just do it for someone, do it for one of them, or for however many bakers you can next year. So I quite like that idea of like paying it forward. Let's reach out, connect, and, you know, yeah, be kind to one another. We'll get through it.